Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I talk to you about those kinds of things. I talk to you because, as advocate, human beings being on this earth, as I've been given to see it, have basic human rights. Now, also, I like to credit the fact that I have been spent a lot of years training as a social scientist, and I am an elder. But for the most part, I got the righteous kind of heart, the righteous kind of spirit. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm just like everybody else. But I just want to call it out for what I see it so that maybe I can be a better person and we as a people could be a better people. And with all of the strangest things that's going on, not just in our country, but all across the globe, we even talking about uh, balloons coming out of China that's covering uh, the U.S. trying to pick up some information, some knowledge, spying, all that kind of stuff. When you don't trust people, you do those kinds of things. Now that's just one system of government toward another system of government, but it's not restricted or limited to that. It definitely is not. In fact, it happens more specifically in situations much smaller than that within the nation, within your systems. For instance, we have something we call white supremacy, and I'm going to bring this stuff forth because I want to share something with you. There's something called white supremacy, we call black supremacy, we call yellow supremacy, and we call red supremacy. Now, when I call these different colors, I'm saying white because you know what white represents. I'm talking about black because you know what black represents. I'm saying yellow because you know what that's supposed to represent. You know what red's supposed to represent. But all of them represents a different shade of people. And what I want to draw attention to, doesn't matter what shade you are, if you're trying to advocate for supremacy, it is evil. It is from ignorance that it exists, and it comes from the pit of hell. Supremacy suggests that God's replacement, that's what it says. Supremacy suggests that it is God's replacement, and it is to do the opposite that God's will represents. Now, what I want you to know, what I want to share with you, and I hope you pay attention, is this. God is about life. I got a scratch down in his throat somewhere. It's causing me to want to cough every now and then. I'm just warning you up front so you can be ready to excuse me. God is life. So, what is this supremacy, this anti-God? What is it? It is about death and destruction. If God is about careers of choice for all, it's part of God's plan. The anti-God is about unemployment, work for some as needed. God is for all humans. Anti is for some humans. God is for food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and anything that is made at the hands of man as they need, want, or desire for all humans. But the anti-God is for this benefit for the supremacists, for the certain ones, while the rest are ignored. God is for love and peace, and prosperity and freedom, and joy and happiness for all. But the anti-God is for hate, for racism, bigotry and lying, and cheating and killing and war. Now, we've heard most recently in America a lot of stuff about racism, about hatred. It's nothing new, but I mean, it's coming like it's on fire again. And bigotry and lying and cheating, all of this stuff is happening. We hear very little about love and peace and prosperity and freedom and joy for all people. But this other, well, God also is for the Bill of Rights, as indicated in the Constitution. But the anti-God is for rights of the supremacists, no one else. God is invisible. The anti-God is a person. He might be white, might be black, might be red, might be yellow, but is a man or a woman. God is for everlasting life for all. The anti-God is life for that supremacy, and rest could be slaves or others. Now, currently, the Republican Party is representative of the most evil. Currently, the Democratic Party is representative for less evil currently. And there have been times in the past, and I'm sure things stay on the same path, there will be switching around. Sometimes the Democrat will be the most evil, sometimes the Republican will be less. But at every time, there's some representative of the great evil and someone tricking you, thinking that they're for you by being just for a little less evil. For evil to be successful, it must have every tool in its arsenal necessary to replicate what truth, what love, what God does. If evil wants to adjust the population and make some changes, it could create a virus or pretend that one exists that takes away thousands of lives, supported by a virus that takes lives or sends victims to the hospitals where they are killed. The systems of the world have systems set up to do just what it wants done. Same as secret societies. They are people and institutions set up to achieve any end. People in systems that have information as having need to know. Those agents are representatives required to carry out unspeakable tasks, are the ones that sit on the seat of power, who makes more money and are approved and loyal to the hidden plans. Others determined not to have the need to know. This method of human power and is practiced throughout human populations. It is referred to as national security. It is evidence that humanity rests on a foundation of evil. This is why humans can have the answer to their prayers before their very eyes and given choice to claim their prayers by faith. That means trusting that there is a God and this God will do what they expect. They will reject God at every time, and they'll choose what they know evil. Why? Because they don't know God. God is invisible. We got an election coming up, presidential election 2020-24. Right now, the number one man that's spokesman and advocate for the most evil political system in America today, the Republican Party, has been impeached a couple of times, has violated, and they have said the Joker, ever since he's been on earth, has been trained to do and to implement and carry out some of the most evil, despicable things that can be carried out here in this particular democracy. They've been have held some restraints on him, but he's done everything he possibly can. And today, it appears that all of that ugly stuff has caught up with him. He thinks that the mindset today might be to put him in jail, and he wants to call out those minions who don't have any reservations about doing exactly what he wants done. He wants to see if he can influence them to raise enough hell in this country that it can get a distortion right there for a few minutes, and he can get a chance to escape the penalties for which he and is due. Well, this is what is going on, and this is what the Republican says is speaking out for them. Now, a lot of people in the Republican Party, as you can gather, don't want him in there. They say he has too much raggedy baggage. But at the same time, everything that he represents is the same thing that they represent. And that is death to everybody that's not like them. That's what it represents. Death to everybody that's not like them. What does that mean? That means it doesn't matter who you are. Without God, you do not understand how everybody can have paradise and have their needs met on earth. If you do not know God, you don't know that. And when you come into the knowledge of that and you act like that, they kill you. which is evidence that you have accepted God's way. Because if you don't accept God's way, they'll leave you alone. But if you go God's way, they'll kill you. That is how, if that 144,000 they keep talking about, if that is ever manifest, that's how it'll be done. By people who love God enough to stand up and represent God and get killed for Him. Jumping up, paying your tithes, singing hallelujah, clapping your hands and dancing and saying, I believe Jesus is the Son of God, ain't going to get you nowhere. Unless it leads you to walk the footsteps that Jesus' path leads. I think I'll just leave that with you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much and have a very good day. Until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.